Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to Supermarket Simulator. Now, this was a game that I was asked to play, and I was happy to give it a shot. Now, as always, if you guys enjoy this channel, content, and my doofy nonsense, any and all engagements you guys leave helps the channel out tremendously with YouTube's algorithm. Likes, dislikes, bell icon, and comments are all great ways of encouraging new users to find our channel, encourages the YouTube algorithm to push us out to other people, and overall just helps us to grow. And I appreciate the help. If you guys want to come hang out with me and haven't done so already, feel free to join our Discord, link in the description below. But enough of that, let me go ahead and get into Supermarket Simulator. Now, I did start another save. We're just going to run this, and I'll explain everything to you guys. You'll start with a small store and grow an awesome supermarket. Start by purchasing goods to sell, place them onto the shelves, and don't forget to set the prices with a profit to avoid bankruptcy. Now, originally what I wanted to do, and I did start a run on this before. I did start a run. The reason why I'm restarting my run is because, admittedly, I was kind of, to some degree, kind of talking out of my ass a little bit. So I just kind of figured that I didn't say things the way I wanted to. So I figured it would just have been best to restart and better form my thoughts. That's the way I was looking at it, anyway. Ultimately, what I wanted to do was kind of be a jerk off to my customers and sell things at exorbitant prices, but unfortunately the game is smart enough to know not to do that, or not to let me do that, which I'm upset about. I am upset about that. I wanted to be able to screw my customers over. I wanted to make a ridiculous amount of money and make my customers pay for it. Unfortunately, the game doesn't let you do that, which is really sad, because I really wanted to do it. Now, I was also talking about work and other things. One thing I mentioned this on the Discord. I talk about my experiences at work, not just as event. Like, admittedly, part of it is event. Admittedly, part of it is event. But the other reason why I explain these stories is because I'm hoping. Oh, God damn it! No! Don't you buy it, you son of a bitch. I am hoping that for anybody, because I know my YouTube community, right? I know this is a particularly mixed bag, right? We have older guys, we've got younger guys, and I've had some younger guys ask me advice on jobs and whatnot, right? You know, what should I do for work? How do I do a resume? Things like that. And I will offer advice to the best of my ability. But then, like I said, I know some of you guys are also older. Like, I have a mixed community. And I'm hoping that my stories not only teach the younger guys, like, hey, if you end up working in customer service, this is what you're going to end up running into. This is the reality of customer service. This is the reality of my line of work. So, you know, if you deal with shitty customers, don't be surprised. This is unfortunately my line of work. This is what we deal with. This is just, people are shitty. In the long run of it, people are shitty. It's just life. Doesn't make it feel any better, but it still sucks. But again, I tell these stories in the hopes that maybe, like, again, the older crowd maybe learns from it. Like, this is the way I look at it, right? If you like my channel, and you like me, for whatever reason, and you know I work in customer service, hopefully you'll think of me when you're dealing with someone in retail, and you won't give them as much shit as someone has given me. You know what I mean? Like, it's more of just, like, trying to hopefully encourage empathy. Because in our line of work, too, there's only so much that I, as a retail associate, can do. Like, for example, I had a guy come in the other day, and he was telling me that he's on a service with his brother. Now, for those of you that don't know what I'm talking about, I work for Verizon, right? I have worked, those of you who are new to the channel, I've worked in a number of different jobs, right? I started off working in an indoor amusement park that I almost died in like twice. Not joking, too. The ride was disconnected from the rails, and the store owner didn't decide to put up a sign, so I had no idea. So I could have killed me and the kids that were going on that ride. So me, the operator, and the kids that were participating. So yeah, I could have been dead right now. I went on from there to work at Pet Supplies Plus. It was a small little pet store. It was a nice place. My first real retail job. I did pet supplies for about 2 years. I did the indoor amusement park for about 2 years. And then I went off to do both Petco and GameStop at the same time. GameStop, I was there for about 8, 9 years. Petco, I was there for 6 months. I left Petco because they basically were kind of a cult. You're either for Petco or you're not for us at all. And because I worked 2 jobs, like, most average adults, because there's plenty of adults who work multiple jobs, they kind of treated me like I was this asshole for, how dare you work 2 jobs to make ends meet? Like, I'm sorry, but the economy sucks. Like, I need money. That's all there is to it. So, yeah, I'm having a mental part. I'm sorry, I got sidetracked with that. Anyway, so they just they're kind of culty. GameStop was what it was. I enjoyed my staff, but then I kind of found out years later that they were shittier than I had realized. I'm honestly kind of disappointed about that because I looked at them more fondly than they looked at me, apparently. But I digress. That's a story for a later date. I did, in the time, I quit Petco, and I started working at Staples. So I was doing Staples and GameStop at the same time. For Staples, I was a tech associate. So if you had tech problems or you wanted to buy a computer, you came to me. I quit. I did Staples for about 2 years, quit them. What else did I do after Staples? I quit Staples. I did quit GameStop. I went and worked at, what was that place? Skechers. I did Skechers for about 6 months. My problem with Skechers was I felt like the odd man out. I already had managerial experience, so the younger managers, these were like college kids, they were insulted that I got the job as a manager when they had to earn it. It's understandable, but the thing is that, again, this was my, 5th or 6th job. For them, this was their first job. And this was their first time as managers. Like I said, I've had plenty of other retail experience, and they're looking at me like, how dare you promote it? You know what I mean? It's like, well, no, I have the experience. That's why I got the job, but I digress. Again, not going into that. I just didn't feel like the staff was there, and I really, really hated my customers. There's nothing more aggravating than, but let me put this in perspective, right? Can I lift this up? I need to order something in order to lift up. I'll show you exactly what I'm talking about so you can understand the absolute frustration that was Skechers. Because it was the stupidest shit. Let me order something real quick. Let's order some bread, because I need bread anyway. Right, so check this out. This is what my customers would do, and it drove me nuts. So, they would take a product off the shelves, right? So oh, bread, sure. Huh. Let me put it over here, and they just drove me insane, because I'm like, it's right here. Why would you bring it over there? Just put it back. And it wasn't just one item either. It was like 5 or 6 different items across the whole store. So I'd have to run around and figure out where the hell they found this item. Because sometimes it felt like these customers were just manifesting items. I'm like, where did you even find this? I didn't even know we had this. And I work here. Where did you find this item? Blows my mind. I quit there. And what did I do after? I quit Petco. I'm sorry, I quit Skechers, and I worked at Miracle-Gro as a vendor, which is what I'm also currently doing. Now, as a vendor, all I do is my boss texts me and goes, hey, Nick, if you're available today, I need you to go work at Home Depot, or I need you to work at Lowe's. I'll go to the store. He'll tell me, okay, you need to work on the chemicals today. You need to work on Miracle-Gro's potting soils. Basically, go to store, make it look pretty. That's literally my job. Just go to the store, make it look pretty, and then go the hell home. And then put your hours in for what you worked. It's honestly an easy job. And I don't mind doing it. The great part about my job is when I work, I could tell customers, I'm sorry, I don't work here. I'm not a insert company here. So Lowe's or Home Depot, I don't work for these people, so I don't know anything about their company. So customers will come up to me, they'll be like, hey, so do you know anything about chicken wire? I'm just a vendor. I'm just here to make the store look pretty. I'm basically... sometimes I'll throw shots at Home Depot and be like, no, I'm just here to do Home Depot's job. Which, technically, that is the truth. I am there to technically do Home Depot's job because, heaven forbid, they're people actually stock their shelves or help their customers, because 9 out of 10 times I have them coming to help. I have customers coming to me looking for help, and I'm like, I can't help you. I don't even work here. So your questions, I don't even know how to answer them. But again, I digress. Now I'm also doing Verizon while doing Miracle Grow. So again, doing 2 jobs to make ends meet. What else? While I'm doing that, I'm also trying to get my license in HVAC. So that way I can leave customer service and never look back. Because I would love a job where I don't have to deal with the public. Or at the very least, if I'm dealing with the public, I can deal with them on my own terms. Which kind of in a way that would be YouTube, me dealing with the public on my own terms, because it's my channel, so I establish the rules. There's no corporate higher-ups. There's no... Like, the only thing that I have to worry about in terms of demands would be YouTube's demands, which is always aggravating to say the least. But I digress. Again, a lot of digression here. Regardless, I don't have... I have the freedom to choose what I want to do. You know what I mean? That's what it is, and I would love to work like that, to have that freedom to choose, but unfortunately I just don't, because I don't make that kind of money yet to be able to do that. So, one day, but not today. And like I said, I tell these stories because I'm hoping to encourage some kind of empathy, not for myself, but for other retail employees, or even for your fellow community members, because there's probably people within our community who do deal with the public, who deal with customer service in some way, shape, or form. And I'm just kind of hoping to encourage, like I said, empathy for them. Because it is really shitty. Like, just to give you an idea, how bad can customer service really get? I've had customers accuse me of things that weren't true. Like, oh, hey, like I had one guy basically accuse me of buying Pokemon cards myself to then resell them for a profit, which that's incredibly outlandish and totally inaccurate. Like, there's no way in hell I'm doing that, but okay. I had a woman not accuse me, I'm sorry. Let me correct myself. I had a woman talk to another customer online, say that she was a single woman, or a single mother, I'm sorry. And she was saying how she has a very hard time finding a husband, and it's because apparently all of them tell her that they're gay. Then she goes ahead and flips it around and says, this is a problem, and we need to... What would be the terminology to use that YouTube wouldn't hate me for? We need to do something very bad and violent towards this particular group of people because I can't find a husband. So she says that, not word for word, but says basically we need to be rid of these people, but that sounds like a problem for Nick. So, 1, she's implying something about me, and then 2, she's saying something that, hey, we need to do harm to these people, which is like, wait, so you're, for 1, assuming that I'm something without even knowing me, and then 2, you're also saying something violent, like, oh, we need to harm these people. So are you trying to imply something violent about me? Did I just give her more change than I was supposed to? Did I give her less? I don't even know if I gave her the right change. I think I screwed myself on that one. I might have just hurt myself. I have no idea. I'm talking so much I wasn't even thinking. Anyway. So. Damn it. I was actually really hoping I could just scuff that. Okay. Trying to ring her up for $74. Anyway, as I was saying. I had that. I had a woman tell her 4-year-old, I've told this story many times, to urinate on my store's window because we wouldn't take back her PlayStation without ID. She wanted to sell us a PlayStation, and by state law, I can't do any trade-ins without IDs. It's just New York. With GameStop, GameStop under New York state law is recognized as a pawn shop. So for pawn law, you have to present ID. You have to be 18 years or older, and you need to present ID. Otherwise, I can't help you. And mostly the purpose of it is to prevent theft, really, because if I'm allowing, like, basically, if you stole an item and I'm buying it from you, I'm giving you the ability to just go ahead and continue doing so. I'm encouraging you to do it, basically. But again, I'm rambling. I apologize. I digress. So, with everything said, this is kind of what I've dealt with. I remember, I've had crazy cat ladies. I actually had one woman we used to call No-Nose back at Petco. The reason why we called her that was because her nose was all frigged up, so we just called her No-Nose. Now, the reason why we made fun of her, too, was because she was a mean bitch. Just to give you an idea of this woman, her little 4-year-old decided to be funny to take the fish net that we had for the dead fish that we had in a bucket. He took it, and then he went up to my coworker and whacked him in the face with it. The lady picked up her son immediately and then ran out of the store without even apologizing. So, she didn't even take responsibility for her kid's actions. Again, this is the reason. Oh, and on top of that, too, the other reason is, this: if you work customer service, you'll understand why this is aggravating. She always came in 5 minutes before we closed. She always came in 5 minutes before we closed, and her kid always made a mess, and they always shopped around. They treated Petco as if we were their personal, like, petting zoo. So, yeah, 5 minutes before we close, I have no interest in showing your kid a variety of animals. Get the hell out of my store. I want to go home. But, anyway. So, yeah, what I dealt with today with Verizon, I had a guy come in, him and his wife wanted to return a smartphone that they had bought. It was technically under the return policy. Now, one thing we always tell the customer is that if you return an item, you have to pay a $50 restocking fee. Customer paid about, I'm going to round it off, say $130. They paid $130. They can't refund the restocking fee. I'm sorry, they have to pay a $50 restock fee, and there's a $40 setup fee that we offer. Well, not that we offer, it's automatically charged, so it's just something that sticks. We can't refund that either, and I explained that to the customer. My goof, I made a mistake. I admittedly made a mistake. I'll own this. They wanted to return it, so I started processing the return. So we have two systems. We have what's called Omni and RQ. Omni is the system that connects us directly to Verizon. This is basic. So if you came into my store and said, hey, I want to buy a phone, I'm going to get onto Omni. I'm going to throw your phone under your plan, and that's how we activate your service. Then there's RQ, which is actually our register system. I don't give a crap who you are. I could run your name as Bill Nye. It doesn't matter who you are. So long as the phone's IMEI and your phone number are associated on that transaction, I could put you down as Donald Trump. It really doesn't matter. That's why it's like, I don't care who you are, what your name is. So long as your phone number is associated with the device that you're buying, it doesn't matter. You're okay. The RQ system and Omni are two separate systems. The only thing that's associated is the purchase. That's really it. Anyway. That all established. So the customer spent about $130. They wanted to return the phone. I kind of goofed, and I had already processed the return on Omni. In doing so, what that did was it made the phone classified as unsellable. You cannot resell this phone once it's been returned. So I go to the customer as I'm processing the RQ return. I already processed Omni. I'm running RQ, and I tell them, okay, well, you're only getting back $90. And my boss allowed me to waive the restocking fee. So the only thing they were losing was the $40 setup. But I paid $130. You can't refund that. That's ridiculous. I want my phone back then. And I'm like, well, I already started processing the return, so I can't do that either. So they started fighting with me, and the husband decided to mouth off. And the words he used were not the words most people should be using. Actually, they are words that no one should be using, actually. Because he decided to say that I was treating them like a couple of... Okay, put it this way. Let me put this word. You probably already know the word I'm gonna try to allude to. If I order more boxes, the tower of boxes out here gets bigger. Now take that word and replace B with N and replace R with A, and that's basically the word that the customer used. And then he decided to start going off and start complaining about crime and things like that. So you already know where this guy's head was at. Up his ass. So, I'm trying to think of my words correctly here before I go and proceed on. But this customer decided to say these words. I go, sir, you know you really shouldn't be using that word. And then he decides to defend himself and say, well, it's a free country and it's just freedom of speech. So I looked at him like, it's not that I'm offended. It's just, it's inappropriate to use that word. Like, like, what I really wanted to say is, you using that word makes you seem like a racist asshole. But, again, in a professional manner, I can't say that. So I just said, sir, that's just inappropriate. Admittedly, transactions like this get me, like, very nervous. Like, just in general, having to fight with customers gets me very nervous. Like, I admittedly can't handle that. I don't know why. I think it's more just because of the fact that, like, I don't really have control over it. And, like I said, I did make the mistake. I shouldn't have done the Omni return. I shouldn't have. I should have done the RQ first and then did Omni. I don't know why I did Omni first. That was my bad. That was me being stupid. I really shouldn't have done that. So I will kick myself for that. But where he was wrong was, well, first of all, where they were wrong was just being belligerent. There's no reason to be belligerent, especially for the fact that I'm just doing my job. Like, it's, regardless if I was wrong for the Omni half of it, you shouldn't be using language like that. And on top of that, you knew this refund was going to be the way it was. So there should have been no surprises. We already explained this to you. Don't act on it. And the other reason, too, why I have no sympathy for them with their, $40 refund, this isn't some guy who's working like me, working retail and just making ends meet. The guy owns 3 houses, rents them out, and then runs a construction business on the side. He is making more than enough money to afford a $40 setup fee. So he was going to lose 40 out of his 130. And he owns 4 houses. Yeah. The guy's making more than enough money. $40 is not going to break the bank for him. At that point, he just wanted to argue. So, anyway. And then, by the way, that is, if those of you who don't work customer service, that does exist. There are customers who will come in to just start a fight. There are customers who just want to fight with you. Nothing more. They do exist. I digress. A lot of digression, again. I apologize. But, so this guy decides to mouth off, again, start to talk about crime and all this other stuff. Without saying its price. Wait, what? God damn it! I've been giving away free food. Son of a mother. Oh, I hate myself right now. Anyway, yeah, no wonder you're buying 3 of them, you cheap bitch. Anyway. I started this game hoping to screw my customers. Now my customers are screwing me. I play games like this as catharsis. Like, I play these games as, like, to, like, alleviate stress, because I'm just imagining the customers are headed. He's like, yeah, now I'm screwing you. Yeah, payback's a bitch, even though I'm screwing over digital people. You know what I mean? Like, that's just how it is. Anyway, I digress. Me just trying to be funny. So this guy, again, starts mouthing off, using language that he shouldn't be using, fighting me on it, and then trying to say how stupid I am, whatever. He's doing everything they can to make me feel bad. So, after managing, I go to my boss. I'm like, look, what do I do? Because they don't want to take the refund, but it's either they want the full 140 or they want their phone back. And my boss goes, well, they can't have either. It's either they take they're either taking the loss or, well, that's it. They're just taking the loss. Because at this point, Verizon owns the phone now. And I'm like, so what do I do? He goes, call the cops. I'm like, seriously? I'm like, okay, admittedly, I made a mistake here. So, I can't really call the cops. Like, that's not right. Like, technically, my boss is right. If I really wanted to, yeah, I could have called the cops, and I technically would have been in the right, sort of. But again, where I was wrong was that I did the process, that I locked them into this return. So I kept texting my boss. I'm like, look, I fucked up. Can I just take the loss on this, and I'll waive the 40? And he said, fine. So he gave me a coupon code. I waived the 40. I gave them their money. And on their way out, they decided to explain to me how they weren't racist and that what they said wasn't racist. Because if I knew the actual term of that word, or I'm sorry, the actual definition of that word, apparently that also means illiterate. Somehow. Maybe once upon a time that term was used for illiteracy. But that still doesn't help their case, because, like, okay, in one context of it, you're racist, and you did mention crime, so I already know what you're trying to go with that, so you're still racist. But then, on top of that, furthering the point, on top of this, you're now trying to say that or that I'm accusing you of being illiterate, or I'm treating you like someone who's illiterate, because they said you're treating us like a couple of that word, but then they're trying to spin it around and say that they're illiterate. So it's like, so what you're trying to say is that, let's take the harsh portion out of the equation here, right? Okay, sure. Let's say I'm treating them as illiterates. Okay, cool. You're illiterate. So what you're doing is you're saying that I'm trying to treat you as if you're stupid, considering the fact that you're using the language that you're using and you're trying to play freedom of speech. Yeah, you are kind of stupid. So maybe your definition is right. Maybe you are an idiot. Anyway, just to kind of preface here, I'm not at heart a political person. I'm not gonna go out and take a day off to go fight for justice of any kind, or I'm not gonna waste my time for any one political side. Like, I don't care personally. If I really had to title myself, I would say I'm maybe like a political centrist. Centrist, maybe leaning to the right a little bit. I'll admit that. I'm willing to, be honest about myself. But regardless of my opinions or affiliations, again, sure, you have freedom of speech, and I respect the freedom of speech. But that doesn't mean keep talking. That doesn't mean run your mouth and seem like an asshole and then try to double back and pretend like you weren't an asshole just 30 seconds ago. So yeah, customers are a wild breed, and customer service in of itself is wild. If I really, really, really want to be an asshole, like if I really want to be an asshole, what I can do is I can look up his receipt information. From there, I can get his phone number. I can look up his name, because apparently, like I said, he runs a construction company. And then if I really wanted to, I could figure out who his clients are and then be like, hey, by the way, you're the guy you're hiring, he's a racist asshole. If I really wanted to do that. Am I going to do that? No, because that's the kind of shit that the far left uses, and that's the kind of shit that psychos do to try to ruin people's lives. Is he an idiot? Yes, he is. But to be honest with you, the way him and his wife reacted after the fact, and the fact they had to stop at the door and defend themselves, they got embarrassed. They realized that they were in the wrong, and they tried to defend themselves. Again, they were still wrong, regardless of whether or not you disagree, whether or not you agree or disagree with what they said, or regardless of whether or not you think I was wrong for what I did. Regardless, they still used language they just shouldn't have used, period. So, with that said, with that all said and done, I'm not gonna go out of my way to try and ruin this person's life. It's stupid, it's a waste of my time, and honestly, all I have to do is when they come back in, this gives me fuel to just be an even greater asshole. Because if they come back in, I could play dumb and go, oh, I don't remember you at all. Please let me get into your account. Sure, I'm going to send you a text message. Get into their account and go, oh, by the way, I remember you. Get the fuck out of my store. Treat this as an official, what's that term? When you're not allowed to be in a place. Trespassing. This is your official trespass notice. By the way, I'm in your account. Have a nice day. So, realistically, am I going to do that? No. If anything, I'm just going to be like, I'm refusing you service. Get out. Leave. That's likelihood of what I'm going to do. What do you mean I'm selling stuff without a price? Don't tell me I have to reset. I'm just giving away boxes of cereal. God damn it. I'm just giving away cereal. I'm pissed. God damn it. One thing about retail is you do have to abide by the advertised price tag. So if a store screws up and actually does misprice an item, they're supposed to sell it at the advertised price. Saying it's the same exact item, mind you. So you can't take the price tag of the cereal box and then apply it to the pasta and then expect them to charge you that price. Like, no. If the tag is correct to the item, then you have to abide by that price. At least that's, I believe, law here in New York. In other cases, just decent business to do that. But anyway. Yeah, so I'm rambling on at this point. Regardless, what I'm going to say is this. There's an old saying. I think the way... I think I'm going to end this with a little bit of a moral point. You catch more flies with honey than vinegar. If you want any help in customer service, and help in general, treat people as you want them to treat you. Just act with respect. Taking any political or gender or anything out of the equation, just treat people with respect. That's it. That just genuinely treat. You know, this is the way I look at it. If you're gonna talk to someone in a retail capacity, look at them as you do your own kid, your own, your loved ones, your friends. Think of that. Look at them as you would talk to someone you care about. And if you wouldn't talk to them the way you're talking to the retail employee, don't talk to the retail employee like that. If you're not going to go to your mother and call her, a cunt or bitch or anything like that, if you wouldn't call your mother those words, you wouldn't call your father or anything like that, your brother, your significant other, if you wouldn't call anyone like that those words, don't call the retail employee that. If you want me to treat you with respect, treat me with respect. Do unto others as you would have them do unto you. It's as simple as that. And like I said, you catch more flies with honey than vinegar. I remember I had a woman who, what did she end up doing? She was trying to return a headset, and technically speaking, I wasn't allowed to do it. But because she had insurance on it, I was able to kind of milk the system a little bit and end up just swapping. No, I remember what it was. She wanted to return it. She was past the return policy. I remember now. I remember exactly what it was. She was past the return policy, and I told her, listen, I can't do that. But if you're at least willing to buy the protection, which is only like $10 on the new headset, I'll just swap out the headset for you. You don't have to buy a whole new one. And she was cool with it. She was like, all right, technically that's against policy, but I was still able to do it, and I was able to get away with it. So she gets what she wants, or something at least equivalent to what she wanted, and I at least helped out the customer. So in the end of the day, and she was respectful about it. I told her, I'm like, listen, you can't refund this, and she's like, please, is there anything you can do? And I'm like, the fact that she came to me and just said, please. That's all she had to do was say, please help me. She doesn't even have to say help me, just, please, what can you do? Just being polite. That was more than enough for me to look into it and try to go out of my way to help her. And I did go out of my way. And I've had plenty of customers who were just friendly and nice to me who I've gone out of my way. Hell, I had one customer who was a regular who was a super awesome customer. He was super nice. He only ever gave me like a conversation. And sometimes that's enough too. Just be nice to me and give me a conversation, and I'll probably go out of my way for you. The guy wanted a pair of headphones. I knew they were in my shipment box. I had like 5 or 6 boxes of shipment. And I'm like, yeah, it's in my shipment box somewhere. So I started looking up which box it was. He goes, oh, all right, then no worries. I'll come back later. I'm like, no, hold on, I got you. And he's like, really? I'm like, I'll figure it out. I went to the back. I dug through all 5 of those boxes. I found the headset, and then later on, I corrected the inventory. He goes, you didn't have to do that. I'm like, for you, I'll do it. Because there are customers, again, I'll go out of my way for like that, just because, again, they're friendly. That's it. If you're friendly to me, I'm going out of my way for you. When you work retail, you'll understand the feeling that I'm talking about. When you work retail and you deal with the scum of the earth, and then on the occasion you have that one friendly customer who's just genuinely being nice, and you know that they're a genuinely nice person, you want nothing more than to help them the best you can. Just because they were nice to you. It's real. It's a feeling that you would only understand if you deal with the public regularly and you get treated like crap. Like, it's hard to explain it, but it's one of those things where you have to experience it to understand it, really. Hell, maybe I'm talking my ass right now. Maybe it's not necessarily customer service, but again, I hope you guys understand what I'm talking about. And like I said, I hope these stories do kind of encourage some kind of positivity in the long run. Like, I hope that you guys use me as some kind of example of like, hey, this is customer service. This is what people in this field of work do. And, just please don't treat people like that. Regardless if you agree with the person in front of you, and regardless if you agree with policy, there's just no reason to treat another human being like that. There's no reason to use particular terminologies that my customer dealt with. There's just no reason to do it. It's not right. It's not good. And just in general makes you look like an asshole. So please avoid it. Wow. This was probably dropped off by FedEx. Anyway, enough of my ramblings. That's where I'm going to leave this one for today, guys. So thank you guys so much for watching. Hope you've enjoyed. as always, if you want to help out the channel, likes, dislikes, bell icon, and comments all help with our growth, helps us get to other users, and allows our community to grow, and I appreciate it. If you guys haven't done so already and want to join my Discord, link description below. I'm always there, so feel free to pop in and say hey. But with that said, guys, that's where I'm just going to leave this one. Thank you, everyone, for watching. You guys are honestly awesome, and I appreciate each and every one of you for being here. More so than you can honestly understand. Believe me, I really do appreciate you guys being here. But enough of my mushy shit. I'm going to end it for now. So, see you around. Have a good one, guys. Later.